dears, my darlings. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing fantastically well today. And if not, I hope this video can make it just a little bit better. So, today, I'm going to be tonight, really, because it's like 1:30 in the morning for me. I'm going to be telling you some of my most embarrassing stories. Exposing myself just a little bit. I don't think I'd be able to do this in the cold light of day, so we're doing it in the middle of the night. And I'm also going to be doing this while lying in bed because I'm really sleepy and I wanted to film while it was quiet, but I didn't have the energy to set up anywhere else, so we're doing it in bed. Oh, and I challenge you to share one of your embarrassing stories in the comment section. I'd love to hear it. It would make me feel better. Alright, so without further ado, let's just get into it. Alright, so embarrassing story number 1 happened when I was 18. These are not in chronological order, they're just there. So when I was 18, it was Christmas, and a Christmas movie, well, it wasn't a Christmas movie, like, set at Christmas, but it was coming out at Christmas, called The Boys in the Boat. It was a movie that was coming out, and it's a true story about rowing, a men crew team that went to the Olympics in Berlin in the 40s, and they ended up winning gold in Nazi Germany, and they were underdogs for sure. No one thought they would do well, and they ended up beating everybody. Very cool story. And there's a book, and then they made a movie of it. I had never read the book. I didn't know anything about it, but the trailer made me cry for some reason. I think it reminded me of a sports team I used to be on, and it just made me cry, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see it. This is where it gets crazy. So, I saw the movie, I liked the movie, and I proceeded to see the movie in theaters 9 times. 9 times I went to a theater and watched that movie. It got to the point where I was like, the theater staff must think I'm absolutely out of my mind, which I was. But it doesn't end there, folks. No, it does not end. I went on to read the book of that, naturally, but it doesn't end there either. I then decided I wanted, see, I'm a big fan fiction writer. I write my own stuff too. Like, I actually just finished a novel that I wrote. I write all sorts of stuff, but fan fiction is my first love. And I decided I wanted a fandom for this movie / book. And of course, it being an obscure historical movie, there was not one. And so I, in fact, created a tag for it, an archive of our own, and wrote a bunch of fanfiction for it. I actually built like a little community of fanfiction writers for this tiny fandom. But yes, I spawned an AO3 fandom tag, but it does not even end there. I then went on to read 3 books about the Great Depression time period that it was set in. And when I say books, I mean like text, like they were basically textbooks, like they were non-fiction, just straight up textbooks. And it doesn't even end there. I was so interested in the time period that I ended up reading another non-fiction book that was just about, like, it's just economics. It's just like vaguely related to the time period economics. And here's the kicker, folks. All of those things, seeing this movie 9 times in theaters, reading the book, reading 3 more non-fiction books about the time period, reading an extra economics book, just cause, and starting an AO3 tag, all happened in a month. Literally 1 month, all of that transpired. Your girl is obsessive. story number 1. I now know quite a lot about the Great Depression and 8-man crew, even though I've never done it before in my life. So there you go. There's the first one. Alright, so I'm sorry when I keep checking my mic, it's because there's a little green light on it. And I'm trying to make sure that it's not shining on me and making my face look green. So that's what I'm doing when I check it. Anyway, okay, story number 2. Also happened when I was 18. I'm just knocking out the 18-year-old ones. So I got into my first official romantic relationship when I was 18. I'd been on a date before. I'd had crushes where the other person liked me too, but it just didn't work out. Never had a relationship before, so I got into my first official relationship at 18, and it didn't work out. But the embarrassing thing is I'm trying to think how to put this without sounding absolutely insane. We just didn't know how to physically move around each other. We just were not physically coordinated together. For instance, the first time we hugged, we misjudged the distance and ran into each other. It was not a hug, it was a fight. No, not really. But for some reason, we just misjudged and gave each other a hug, but smacked into each other. And it was so bad. And then the first time he came over to my house, he was in my room, and we couldn't move around each other. We kept running into each other, trying to move around my room. It hurt. It was so painful. Not literally, but it hurt me deep inside. And then it was just so cringe. We were also terrible at kissing. We were so bad. It turned me off kissing for real. I hated it so much because I'd never kissed anyone before, and so I was not in it for French kissing, right? I was I don't know what. I'm not into that right now. Never done I just butterfly kiss, just give me that. No. He would go wanted to suck face, and I was I don't like this. But my communication skills were terrible, and so I didn't express that really. I just kinda hated it. And he was terrible at reading cues like that, because I would always keep my mouth really tight shut, literally pressing my lips together, and he would just keep his mouth. This is so stupid. He would keep his mouth open, he would French kiss me with my mouth closed. It was so stupid. I could not communicate, and he could not for the life of him figure out that me keeping my mouth tight shut was not an invitation to just go harder. It was not it. Also, one time we were trying to kiss in the dark, and he accidentally kissed he kissed my chin instead of my mouth. It was so bad. It was so bad. We could not function around each other. The chemistry was zero. That's for sure. It was atrocious. So anyway, that's my second embarrassing story, which it's so cringe. It hurts me to think about. But that's all done now. So yay. That relationship lasted all of 2.5 months, because it just was not working. He was a sweetheart, don't get me wrong. He was a wonderful person. If you're watching this, my dear, you're a wonderful person. But boy, did that not work out at all. Alright, story number 3. This one was from when I was, I think, 14 or 15. Also, dude, my stomach is so pale. What is going on with that? I'm so pale. I burn in the skin. My dad's Irish, my mom's Scandinavian. Very pale. Anyway, besides that, so my third story. Um, so I had gotten a phone, not like super recently, but like semi recently. I still wasn't super great at keeping track of it, and I had put it in the top of. I'd been studying at the library, and the library was like walking distance from a coffee shop. So I'd gone to the coffee shop, and then I had like miscalculated time because I had to be back at the library in time to do like a school meeting. And so I was literally like running from the coffee shop to the library, like full out running. And I had like one of those backpacks that that has like two zippers to like meet in the middle, right? And I had put my phone in the very top of my backpack, and then zipped the zippers in such a way that like all the weight of the stuff in the backpack was pulling the zippers apart. And so, lo and behold, whoever could have guessed, as I was dead sprinting with my crammed full backpack on my back, the zippers did in fact like split apart a little bit, and my phone fell out. But I didn't notice this because I was in a rush and I was like running and I didn't feel it fall out. And so I didn't notice that it was gone for like a while. And then when I finally did, I couldn't drive at that point, of course, by myself, and so I was waiting for my mom to come pick me up. And I couldn't call her naturally because I couldn't find my phone. So I went like to the library desk. I went to the coffee shop desk and I was like, "Can I please use a phone?" And though I don't remember what exactly it was that meant I couldn't, but for some reason I couldn't. And so I just waited for her to come get me. And then I told her, like, "Mom, like I can't find my phone." Then I had backtracked where I had walked and I found my headphones, but not my phone. And I was like, "What the hell?" Because it was like they were like cord headphones, and so they'd been plugged in. I'm like, "How is it one and not the other? Like, what the heck?" But anyway, could not find it. And my mother decided to call the non-emergency police line to get a literal police officer to come try to find my cell phone. And so I have to walk this cop through my entire journey from coffee shop to library and everywhere in between, and have him looking for my phone, which was just like, it was so cringe. I'm like, oh my god, he has so many better things to be doing. That poor man must have just been like, I went through the police academy for this, like to help an irresponsible teenager find her cell phone. And in fact, we did not find my cell phone. And when I tell you, we were looking for like an hour. We were dragging this cop around downtown because it was downtown. Dragging this cop around this little downtown for so long, and he was such a sweetheart about it. Like, he was really nice, and he wasn't like mean or like anything. But I was just so embarrassed. I'm like, our tax dollars are paying for this. It was so bad. I appreciate the lengths that my mother was willing to go to get my phone back. Love you, Mama. But oh my gosh. And we did eventually find it. Someone had picked it up and like called my dad from my phone to be like, "We found your phone." So we got it. But that poor cop and poor me ran around downtown for so long trying to find this damn cell phone. So that was pretty cringe. Alright. Story number, I think this is 4. Is this 4? Yes, this is 4. Story number 4. This one goes all the way back to when I was 10 years old. I was in 5th grade, and I struggled with motor coordination as a child. Not like in everything. Like, I was really good at stuff like crocheting and like soccer soccer and, like stuff that you would think would take a lot of motor skills, and like they do, but there were just certain things that I could not do. Like I couldn't put my own hair in a ponytail until I was like 12, 11 or 12 maybe. Like I could just grab my hair and like put it, tie it up like right at the bottom of my neck, but like a ponytail like here on your head or whatever, like I could not do it myself. And same with tying my shoes. I could tie my shoes like, making 2 loops and tying them together, but the whole like actual like loop around like the like fancy way, normal person way of tying shoes, I didn't learn that until my friend taught it to me at 13 years old. The first time I learned how to tie my shoes the normal way was at 13 years old. And like keys, I struggled so hard with keys. Like putting keys in locks and like all the stuff. I was so bad at those little motor skill things. I don't know why, but I could not for the life of me put my own hair in a ponytail. And so my wonderful mama, she's just such a great person. She would put my hair in a ponytail for me every day before I went to school, because I hated wearing my hair down. Like it would just get in my way. And so she would put my hair up every day. But my mom went on a business trip at one point for like a week, and my dad did not know how to do that. And I didn't know how to do that either. How to put my hair up. And so I went to school just with my hair down because I couldn't figure it out. And it was so rare for me to have my hair down that people actually like commented on it. Like my class, because it was a Montessori school, so it was like one really large class, but like we all learned like in the same room, like a couple grades together, and it was just one giant room. And so the teacher was in there, and all of my classmates from like 3 grades were in there, and I was standing up at the front of the room because like to get into the classroom you had to like go through the door and then like basically walk in front of the whole class. Like it's kind of hard to explain the layout, but like you were practically on a stage. And so I'm walking, just come in the door, and one of my friends is like, "Oh my gosh, so loud." She's like, "Oh my gosh, you have your hair down. Like, what? You never have your hair down." And I'm like, yeah. And like 2 other people said something about it, and my little self just like froze solid. Like I have such a freeze response when I'm like stressed or embarrassed or whatever. Froze solid at the front of the room. And I was also like a painfully honest child. Like honest to a ridiculous degree, where it's like you don't have to, like I would add information when it's like you don't have to be that honest. And I was like, yeah, like my hair's down, like my mom's not here. And they were like, what does that have to do with anything? And again, my painfully honest little 10-year-old self was like, well, she puts my hair up every day. And Montessori schools are big on independence. Like they want you to do all of your home things yourself. Like you'd better be making your own food and packing your lunch and like packing all of your stuff and doing everything. Like they want you doing everything without your parents' help. Which when you have trash motor skills, you can't do. And so I, in fact, admitted that my mom put my hair up every day because I couldn't do it. I didn't know how to do it. And like that whole, God, I'm about to swear now, that whole class was making fun of me. My teacher, the teacher in front of all of the students was like, you can't put your own hair in a ponytail. Like, what is wrong with you? Like they were like mocking me so bad in front of the whole class, and I was so embarrassed because I was like, I should be able to put my own hair in a ponytail, but I just couldn't figure it out. Anyway, that stung my pride really bad. I got made fun of, kind of. I wasn't like bullied in that school per se, but there was just certain stuff that I could not do or did not understand that I would like people would make fun of me, but it wasn't that bad. But that was a painful story. Alright, was like 12 or 13. And so, yes, so I was at my grandparents' house, and one of my aunts still lived at home, and she was so cool. She's 8 years older than me, and she was like my hero when I was a kid. And she worked late, but she was gonna be coming back to my grandparents' house at like midnight or so, and I was determined to stay awake. But I never stayed up that late at that age, and so I was like, what can I do to keep myself awake? So I decided, naturally, to watch X-Men to keep myself up. And I asked my grandfather to set it up for me, because the way, like, they didn't have like streaming services, like it was only like discs at that point, and I was like confused about how to make it play on the TV. Like there was some, I don't remember the way the mechanism was really weird for some reason, and it wasn't working. And so I was like, Grandpa, like, can you come put this in? And so he put the CD in, and the X-Men movie that I was watching opens with a like intense makeout scene. Like it's not actually anything more than that, but the people are like in bed, hardcore making out with each other. And my grandfather plunks down right next to me on the couch. It's just me and him, and he watches. He stays for this entire makeout scene, and I'm like, well, I guess he's gonna be watching the movie with me. Like, okay, whatever. And I kid you not, as soon as that makeout scene is done, he gets up and leaves. Like, excuse me, what? Like, I do not understand why he felt the need to watch an entire intimate scene with his 12-year-old granddaughter and then just head out after that. I'm like, why? Why? And it's so strange because he's like super conservative. Like, I'm surprised he was even letting me watch something like that. And yet he decided to stay and watch it with me. And that was so cringe. I wasn't close to my grandpa. Like, I knew him, obviously, but not that well. Like, we were not close. We did not have that kind of relationship where we would watch movies together or anything. But boy, did he watch that one with me for the 5 minutes of the makeout scene, and then he was out. So that happened. Okay, I've got 2 more for you. So, second to last story happened. I don't remember how old I was, but I think I was probably 11, maybe something like that. And so, you have to understand that between the age of like 7 and 11, I barely grew at all. Like, I was a tiny kid. I did not grow really until I was like 13, and then I did all of my growing between 13 and 14, and then haven't grown since. But yeah, when I was in elementary school, I barely grew, to the point where like literally I was wearing pants that I had worn. They were like size 5T pants, and they were stretchy, and I was wearing those in like 5th grade. I'm not even kidding. It was crazy. But so all that to say, this is like way too much information, but it's funny. So I wore the same like underwear, the same set, like, because I had gotten a set of like princess underwear when I was like 6 maybe, and I wore those for years and years and years because I wasn't growing, so I could just keep wearing them. And so I had these like super chintzy princess underwear, and at this point I was 11, still wearing them. And my family's kind of cheap. We do not get new clothes very often at all. And so if I wasn't outgrowing stuff, we weren't getting anything new. And at that point, let me back up a little bit. Some of my best friends were this family of boys. we lived in like semi-rural Virginia at the time, and they had a bunch of land, and so we would just run around in the woods for hours and hours, and it's all such good memories. It was such a great time. But we would be climbing trees and doing all sorts of stuff that I'm like, in retrospect, I'm like, that was really dangerous. Some of the stuff we were doing, but it was fun. And so at one point I was climbing a tree, and as I was climbing down, like like my pants like snagged on a little stick outcropping thing, and it ripped, but not like it ripped, like it would be like right here, like that, and it just like ripped a little patch out of my jeans, but I didn't feel it, and so I didn't realize that I had part of my pants ripped off. And when I got back down the tree, the boys, one or two of the boys were like, "Hey, like your pants are ripped," and I was like, "Oh, I know," because I thought they meant like the knees of my jeans, because the knees of my jeans were like shredded. I had so many holes in those jeans, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know, no worries." And they were like, "No, like your pants are ripped," and I'm like, "I know." Like, tell me something I don't know. And it took me a hot minute to realize that in fact my pants had ripped and were displaying my 6-year-old princess underwear for these 5 boys to see. That one was painful, and at that point, yeah, I was like 11, and so it stung my pride quite a lot, I have to say. And when I did realize that, oh my gosh, the mortification, and I asked the girl to take me back, did this like walk of shame back to the house to put on different pants. That one was rough. They were very kind though, and they did not make fun of me for it afterward, which is impressive for a pack of boys, so proud of them and thankful. But that was rough. Alright, so last story of the night was when I was 16, and for some background, I have always, for a long time, wanted to get into acting, and thankfully I do that now. It's not part of my career, but I do it pretty significantly. I perform at a comedy improv theater, and then I work tech for the shows I'm not in. Like, I'm there a lot, and it's a great time. But it had taken ages for me to be able to even take classes in acting, because where I lived did not have a lot of opportunity for it. But eventually, when I was almost 16, I moved to Dallas, Texas, and Dallas has a very large acting presence, and so I found a acting studio and was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this. And so I had been saving money for a long time in order to be able to take classes, and so I finally signed up for a class, and it was just a regular like stage and film acting, like a week acting class. So expensive, but it was worth it. But anyway, the first day that I showed up for it, it turned out that the class had been canceled, and I was like, damn it, like I was looking forward to it so much. And so the front desk, the person working the front desk was like, hey, well, that class is canceled, but if you want to drop in on they're teaching a commercial acting class, so if you want to just drop in on 1 week of that today, you're welcome to. And I was like, hell yeah, like let's do it. And so I wasn't planning on doing commercial acting, but I was like, let's go, why not, let's try it. And so this commercial acting class was like built to break you of being embarrassed about stuff. Like, they would make you do the craziest things, and then they would play your tape, the recording of you doing those things back in front of the class, and the teacher would like critique your performance in front of everybody else. It was brutal. And so it was so good for me though. Like, it really helped with all of the acting I've done since then. But anyway, that first day I was not prepared for that. And so this teacher, he would put the classroom, and then he would pull just one person at a time into the classroom, shut the door, and you'd just be standing in front of a camera. And he started playing music, and it was like supposed to be a Target commercial, basically. And he was like, okay, now I want you to dance. I am not a dancer by any stretch of the imagination. I can't dance to save my life. Not at all, not even like in a casual way. Like, I can't dance. The only kind of dancing I can do is like traditional, like contra dancing or like line dancing, basically. But nothing else. And so he was telling just like freestyle dance. I had never been in front of a camera before. I was in this room by myself with this like 50-year-old man pointing a camera at me, being like, go ahead, dance. And I was like, oh my god, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And so when I'm nervous, I just talk. I just talk and talk and talk. And so I was dancing. And the whole time I was dancing, I was just going, like talking about just random BS, like no rhyme or reason. A lot of it was just like, I don't know what I'm doing, like I don't know how to dance. Like I was literally just saying my internal monologue out loud because I was so stressed. And then after, when everybody had done their dance in front of the camera, then he pulled us all into the classroom and played all of our dancing videos back for the whole class to watch and critiqued in front of everybody. And the thing is that the teacher only had one critique for me, but his critique for me was, shut up. That was all he said. Like, he didn't really have anything else to say. He just made the whole class watch me dancing and chattering, and then at the end he was like, Galen, shut up. And I was like, okay, I hear you. And that was a very good experience for me because it completely broke me of being embarrassed about like anything to do with acting, because it really doesn't get much worse than being on your first day forced to dance in front of an old man, stranger, in a room by yourself in front of a camera, and then having that played back in front of a whole class of peers, and then being told that your one critique is to shut up in front of all of them. I don't know if I've ever been embarrassed again. No, that's not true, obviously, but that was helpful for acting. Anyway, love you, Derry. Derry was my teacher. He was wonderful. That's definitely stuck with me. Alright, so those are my embarrassing stories. I'm sure I have more. I mean, I'm an embarrassing person. And so, if you want a part 2, I can totally do a part 2. Thank you for watching. I hope this made you feel a little bit better about your own embarrassing moments. I love hearing about other people's most embarrassing moments because it makes me feel less stupid, so cheers. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to like it and subscribe. Maybe click that little bell, that little bell, and maybe even write me a comment, and tell me your embarrassing stories because I want to hear them. Please make me feel better about myself. Okay. Alright, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, night, whatever it may be.